going, fellas? Got a video from Men Only. 90% of these clubs are women, and why men will never go to these clubs again. Let's get into it.
Where have all the nightclubs gone? I'm 43 years old, so if you're anywhere from, let's say, 35 and up, and you live in Long Island, New York, you're probably thinking the same thing I have. Where have all the clubs gone?
Atlanta nightlife right now is not the same.
Stop it.
Especially clubs.
Oh,
one of
no.
the biggest clubs, one of my favorites in Atlanta, it just closed down.
Fellas, welcome back. Today's topic is a hot one. Why men will never go to clubs again, and it was 90% women. We're diving into the reasons behind this shift, what's keeping men away from the club scene, and the surprising effects of this change. If you've noticed the shift in nightlife or want to understand what's really going on, stick around.
That's it. Cannot do this no more. I swear to God, we're not another man. No.
3 nightclubs a week have closed in the UK so far this year. Yorkshire has been the hardest hit area, with 45% of venues being lost this year, including long-running clubs such as Wire. Venue owners have suggested that rising costs of living and a lack of essential public services are to blame for the closures, citing unreliable late-night transport and a lack of a police presence, which forces venues to spend on security and cleaning, services that should be publicly provided.
They're dressed the worst, late at night, no security, no nothing. I mean, even if you said that the club would provide all of that security, they're not going to provide it all the way home. So what are you guys going to do going home? They have to get an Uber, and some of them live 2 or 3 blocks away. That's 2 or 3 blocks late at night where, as my parents used to say, nothing good happens after a certain amount of time. After a certain hour in the day, there's nobody on the streets. Nobody should be on the streets. And people out there at that time of night are only looking to get into something bad. And here you are with a bunch of women who are potentially inebriated, walking alone. What are we expecting to happen? Not that I want it to happen, but what are we expecting to happen?
And when I tell you everyone is out in pairs, it's 2 or more. It's never 1. And I am just wondering, single people, where are you guys? Like, I just had dinner by myself and was literally the only single person there. Like, single party. You guys, I hope you guys are not staying home. Like, I hope you guys are, like, living life, because I need you guys out here.
Me and my best friend FaceTime 3 times a day. I see her at least once a week. So when I introduce her to a man, it feels like a big deal, but she already knows everything about him. But when a man introduces you to his best friend, when he introduces you to the one that he sees him twice a year, definitely doesn't know his birthday, but that's his boy. Oh, he's gonna marry you. Can't take that back.
This generation is cooked. Here's the reality check. Men are tapping out of the nightclub scene, and it's no wonder. Think about it. Nightclubs have become this game where men are expected to show up, spend their hard-earned money, and all for what? To be a prop in someone else's ego boost? Men are waking up to the fact that the deck is stacked against them in these places.
These modern women are betting on the fact, as you can see with the way they dress and the makeup that they put on, they're banking on the fact that a man is going to find them so irresistible that they pay for whatever they got going on. So it's another free night of me going out here and getting people to pay for my stuff. And it's actually pretty crazy. That's probably why they say, well, my makeup costs this, and this. Because they say, on one hand, I'm doing it for myself. But then on the other hand, when they go to these nightclubs, that's what they're actually doing. They're actually doing it for a man's gaze. They're actually doing it to get the man's attention. And it sounds better if they say, well, I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for myself. But they're actually really not.
And they're no longer willing to play along. The days of dropping cash for a couple of hours of attention are over. And honestly, it's an economic shift that speaks volumes. Nightclubs have turned into places where women expect drinks on the house, thinking it's part of their night out. And the truth is, a lot of men are realizing the game isn't in their favor. They're finally seeing through it. The free drinks, the inflated egos, the swipe of rejection after rejection as if men are just there to fund someone else's night. Now, with this whole independent woman mindset and the rise of hookup culture, real connections are becoming rare. Many of these women are caught up in a loop of freedom that doesn't actually fulfill them. And for men who are genuinely looking for loyalty and partnership, it's become a nightmare to navigate this field. Men aren't dumb. They know that loyalty isn't something they're likely to find in a scene built around quick validation and temporary thrills.
Going on a date. I don't want to go, but I do. I do want to go. This is good. This is the time of my life where I'm supposed to be doing these fun activities because I'm getting older. But what if you get there and he's ugly and he's awful and he looks nothing like he does online? Well, then you just have to remember that it's only 2 hours of your life and you never have to speak to him again if you don't want to. Okay, but what if it's 2 really, really excruciating hours and I can't hide my facial expressions and help how I feel? Then you just be honest with him and go home. This is good. This is good. I feel good. I'm going to have a great time.
So if this is the way that you feel, are you going to pay for your own dinner? If it's so excruciating, probably not. You're just going to sit there. Not only are you going to sit there and think, I hate this guy, but you're going to tell everybody before you even get there that you don't like the guy, that you don't prefer the guy. And you're going to want the guy, even though you're roasting him online, to be a perfect gentleman, to open your door, to pull out your chair, to make sure you get home safely, to buy you an Uber or come by and pick you up. All of these other things while you sit up online and talk reckless. Interesting.
Welcome to dating in your 20s. Best of luck to all of you.
So how do you outsmart women who like to play games, who like to create a little anxiety, the little push and pull within you? Well, I'm going to tell you 4 ways. And if you have been following me for a while, you know my content. And I go a little bit deeper into things. First, just give you kind of the surface level advice. If you're new here, my name is Sarah, and I help good men attract great women. So first of all, I just want to talk to you about what a game is and what games are perceived as. Now, personally, I don't think that games are quote unquote games. What they typically are just 2 people who are unsure, who lack emotional maturity, who don't necessarily know what it is that they're looking for, who are scared to really show themselves, be in a relationship. They potentially might exhibit these like push and pull behaviors to test your reactions, especially with women. Women will potentially pull back at times to see how interested a man is. And I know it's kind of crappy, unfortunately, from an evolutionary perspective. It is what we do. So it sometimes does work and sometimes it doesn't work. It depends on how that woman is rewarded. So the first thing you have to do is just recognize that it's happening, and then don't take the bait. Don't play the game, because chess players can only play chess with other chess players. If you notice and you start to see patterns within your dating life, and that is what I help men do in particular and that are watching me and that are in my channels and in my communities, and I help them identify who potentially they're attracting, who they're attracted to, how to have upfront conversations about what it is that you want, about the dating process, about, just whether or not you're looking for the same things. There's very predictable patterns in the people that we choose to date. And some of those will emulate games. So if you're a secure, healthy person, you just don't take the bait. You just know that, okay, this person might be creating this type of behavior because they have some insecurity and some self-esteem issues. So I'm going to have to communicate concisely. typically when you enter into a new relationship over the age of 30, if you're not having clear communication and or setting boundaries with what it is that you want in a relationship, what it is that you are looking for, if somebody is attracted to the fact that you're pulling away and creating all of this intensity within the relationship, that's a red flag in the first place. So relationships in the beginning, yeah, there should be a little bit of like, you know, kind of weird feelings because you're not really sure. That's okay. But when there's chaos and when there's turmoil and when you feel a certain sense of anxiety, that's something to pay attention to.
Yeah, I like what she was saying. I think it's natural for really anybody to have defenses or guards up. The problem for me comes in when modern women continue to play these types of games and men are continuing to tell you, okay, I got it. I understand it. Let me go a little bit more further. Let me go above and beyond. And you continue to play these games. And then the man is just like, you know what? It doesn't seem like you're ever going to stop. You're in it for something. I'm not sure what, but I don't want to be a part of that. And then you're going to say that men are trash when they ghost you. But for the whole 2 or 3 weeks, you've been playing games with him. You've been wasting his money. You've been wasting his time, his energy, his resources, all of those things. And the man didn't told you, listen, I can give you as much time as you need, but you need to communicate to me what's going on. Talk to me. Oh, well, I didn't. And that's the thing. It's always an excuse as to why they can't communicate effectively. But you right off the bat need to tell them everything. You need to be transparent up front. If you want to get with me and sleep with me, then let me know. I will respect you more. But then when a man says, okay, up front, let me know what you got going on, whether you want to spend my money, whether you don't really want to spend my money, but you do want to be valued. And so this is the way that I can show you value. And there are some other things that I should know about that might make me uncomfortable. Well, how was I supposed to know? What most modern women know, because they've been out there in the dating game, they know what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable. And they play these types of games and expect a man throughout all that game playing to accept and be like, yeah, don't worry about it. I didn't need that money anyway. I'm a perfect gentleman. No, absolutely not. You need to start communicating what it is that you need, what you're looking for up front. And if he ain't with it, let him leave. If you don't like that man, similar to that other clip that we saw where the woman was talking about, what if he's ugly? What if I get there and it's 2 hours of excruciating this and that? Okay, then you need to be paying for the date, period. You need to be paying your portion. You didn't like him. Nobody lost anything, just lost a little bit of time, which is expected. But modern women won't do that. They'll sit up here and play all these games and make you pay for it. And that's why men are walking away.
Here's the real truth. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just ignore her and walk away. Look, a lot of women think that playing games and pulling away is going to make men chase after them, as if it's some fairy tale where the guy just keeps coming back no matter what. But real men these days, they're not here for it. They see the games, they see the hot and cold, and honestly, they'd rather walk away than play along. The truth is, when they pull these stunts, thinking it's going to make a guy more invested, they're actually pushing him further away. Men don't find the mind games intriguing. They find them exhausting. Why would any man want to keep trying to guess what she's thinking when she's not being clear about what she actually wants? Most guys want honesty and straightforwardness, not some complex guessing game where they're supposed to read minds. If she's testing him or pulling away to see if he'll work harder to keep her, she's in for a rude awakening when he simply doesn't come back. And then they're mad. Mad that he didn't come running back. Mad that he didn't beg or plead. But it's not because he doesn't care. It's because he respects himself too much to play along. Men are learning that they don't need to chase. They can replace. There's no point in dealing with someone who wants to test his patience. It's not a sign of strength to be constantly chasing someone who doesn't seem interested or isn't clear with their intentions. So next time she thinks that disappearing or playing hard to get will make him come after her, maybe she should think twice. Because men are waking up to the fact that there's no reason to put up with it. They're tired of games, tired of mixed signals, and they're choosing to walk away. Not because they're weak, but because they know their worth.
I doubt I'm going to post this because I'm just kind of like wanting to keep a record for myself. I met a guy in Mykonos 2 weeks ago, and I'm about to go to the airport to fly to Toronto to go visit him, which is like kind of crazy. And he's been so sweet and so accommodating. Like last weekend, he's like, what's your coffee order? Like, I'm gonna pick up everything. And he's made all these dinner reservations. He invited Georgie to come. He has a dog, so we're gonna like walk the dogs, go to dinner. And like normally I'd be pretty anxious, but he's so kind and we had so much fun together. Like he's so funny. No matter what, it's gonna be fine. So you only live once, you know? Toronto boy, Toronto boy, Toronto boy. The story that y'all have been waiting for. Let's get into it. I was in Greece for 2 weeks this summer and I went to Mykonos. We were at Scorpios. This guy invited us over to his table. I ended up hitting it off with one of the guys, like unexpectedly. He was just so funny and we were just like ping-ponging off of each other. He's a handsome guy, but he isn't my normal type. Long story short, I got like straight up and so I had to go home. Like, it was something that's never happened to me in my 38 years. My friends knew automatically. I'm happy to share that story now that some time has passed. The next day he was texting me. He's like, what happened to you last night? You just like disappeared. And I'm like, oh, like we stopped by this late night and then I went home, but my friends stayed, which is what happened. Like we stopped by this place on our way to take me home. He like didn't really believe me. I could tell he didn't really believe me, but I just was like, whatever. Went to go to Alan Magoo to see Blondie DJ and we ran into him in the bathroom line. He and I had so much fun. We were talking all night. Didn't believe me when I said I'd gone home the night before. I was like, honestly, but he was like, oh, I thought you just went home with another guy. Definitely looking back now, red flags of like, we're on vacation. Like the possessiveness is kind of weird. He actually does call me when he gets back. What are you doing next weekend? I really want to see you. Can I fly you out to Toronto or can I come to Austin? He's like, well, you can bring Georgie and we can like go to nice dinners and go for walks with the dogs. He has a dog. You can just like chill. It'll be nice. And you can just fly in late Friday and leave early Sunday. So 2 nights, but less than 48 hours. Of course, I was a little bit nervous about going. Seemed really respectful. Knew he had a guest room. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, like he has a guest room. This is a no pressure situation. Did some background checks on him and stuff like that, whatever. I felt very safe. Georgie and I make the trek there. Basically, as soon as I walked into his house, which was stunning, beautiful, amazing, I was like, oh, this may have been a little bit of a mistake. I don't know if I really want to be. He'd made all of these reservations. He'd picked up my favorite type of coffee. He was asking about everything. Like he was so accommodating. He put all my stuff in the guest room, so I was able to like get ready over there. And on the way to dinner, he asks me, let's call her Sharon. Your friend Sharon, she's like not that smart, right? Like she's kind of stupid. What? Sharon? No, Sharon is like really, really smart. Like I go to her for everything in life. It's like, oh, I just saw her like bebopping around. And yeah, she was like partying in Mykonos. She wasn't sitting down and talking about history, but yeah, like Sharon's really smart. I think that he would leave it at there, like kind of foot in a mouth situation. And instead he says, Laura's stupid, right? No, Laura is just as smart as Sharon and they're both just as smart as me. I was so taken aback. Who just talks like that? It was bizarre. Wait, are these like your good friends? Yeah, those are like my best friends of like 15 years. Like, please don't let them know that I said that. In my head, I'm like, obviously I'm gonna let them know you said that. Like, I clearly hate you now. Anyone that would ask that an hour into me arriving is not my type of person. Anyone who would ask that, yeah, it goes without being said. Don't talk bad about my girls. My girls. Mine. Those girls were here before you, and they're gonna be here long after you, buddy. So, zip it. We're at dinner and he keeps checking his phone and apparently he has a camera in the house. Georgie and his dog are losing their mind barking at the front door. They barked for 3 hours. 3 hours straight. I was stressing the f out. He kind of kept blaming Georgie and wait, I'm not gonna say his dog's name. He also told a story about how he's like the vice president of a company and someone tried to sue him for being, and then he was giving me examples and saying it's not, and it was just giving me the ick. Also stressed about the dogs. I'm tired. I'd done international travel, but he insisted that we go to the next spot. And then once we get to the next spot, he's complaining that it's not as cool as it used to be. And talking about politics, US politics. At dinner had asked me, is Georgie going to sleep on the bed? Yeah. Like, does your dog sleep on the bed? Like, no, my dog's not allowed to go upstairs at all. I didn't know dogs weren't allowed in the bed. Like, Georgie definitely sleeps in the bed. I can sleep in the guest room. Oh no, I want you in the room with me. And like, it's fine. But I could tell like it wasn't fine. So uncomfortable. We're gonna have to go to a part 2.
Here's the thing. She's 38, still out here trying to vibe with the Toronto boys, and hoping she's not chasing after the younger crowd. But let's be real. It raises questions. Is she really looking for something serious? Or is she just stuck in the dating loop, chasing a fantasy? Now, here's the reality. Guys who are solid, stable, and genuine, those who actually value a partnership, are often passed over. Why? Because we don't roll with flashy jobs or drop cash just to impress. And for too long, that's been the standard. If you're not showing off with a high-class lifestyle, then somehow you're invisible. But here's the kicker. Good guys have wised up. We've realized that it's not worth chasing someone who can't see beyond surface-level stuff. A guy's value isn't just his job title or his bank balance, and men are waking up to that. So yeah, it's tough to watch when someone at 38 is still in the same cycle, choosing style over substance. And it's even tougher to see that they may be the same ones asking, where have all the good guys gone?
So I matched with this guy on Hinge.
And I've got to add before we go to the next clip, the way she tells the story, it just seems weird. Obviously, it seems like they're on different pages, and there are some things that he doesn't tolerate in his house, and he was trying to be accommodating. But I feel like I would, if you in 38 years had somebody put something in your beverage and your friends were around, just assuming that, I don't know if she said they were, I would be asking the same questions. I would be asking, who in the world are you hanging around? Because you guys are supposed to be protective. How is it that something that you're drinking is being modified? I'm trying to work around guidelines here on the platform. How is it something that you're consuming is being modified when you have a group of people around you? You oftentimes say that and you're super cautious and super protective. What's to say that you don't go out again and that same thing doesn't happen again and something even worse happens? To me, that screams careless. To me, that type of behavior, and maybe that's what the narrator was hitting on, you're still out there partying and just kind of doing whatever you want to do. And all these are my girls, and I just do this and I over here that. Yeah, going to Mykonos and all these other things, that type of lifestyle. And I know he was there doing his thing, but there's a difference between partying and vacationing. Does that make any sense? Like, I'm going here for vacation. I like to have a good time, but you're here on a girls trip, living your best life. And this is not the only girls trip that you're going on. We're going out here. We're just dancing and drinking the night away. That's the type of person that strikes me. This man, maybe he's coming off too controlling, but this man, I think he said it was a VP of a company. There's somewhere down the line, some sort of discipline that says, okay, this is the way we're going to do things. This is how it's going to go. Bop, bop, bop. And she's not that person. And so both of them are going to be miserable, but she's going to be miserable because he's putting in guidelines and parameters, and she doesn't like that. That's my take on it.
Okay, things are going great. We're having great conversation, good back and forth. He's answering, with more than one word, and he's being super nice, super respectful, and it's not love bombing at all in any way. He was just trying to form a genuine connection.
This sounds like the same type of speech that the last girl had. The same type of phraseology. He's being super nice, super respectful, super this, super that, and I'm about to get myself in super trouble because I'm not super being cautious and I'm not super doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I wonder, did that last girl say when she did a background check on him, did she find anything alarming? Did everything come back clean? I'm just wondering, because you're trying to pin it all on him, like this girl looks like she's trying to do. But actually, there's some red flags that you need to check out within yourself. But go ahead.
And it truly seemed like textbook, this is how you get to know someone and then date them, okay? And so I'm like, oh my God, I met a nice guy. So then we're talking and we start texting. So I'm thinking things are going great. We're planning to meet up hopefully this weekend and go do something. And so Sunday, we were trying to FaceTime. Sunday we were going to, it didn't work out. So Monday he jokingly was like, if we don't FaceTime tonight, I'm gonna die, ha ha ha. Okay, so we're talking all throughout the day Monday. Things are fine. And then I knew he was busy till 8:30. So around 8, he texted me. He's like, I'll be done soon. I was like, yeah, take your time. Like, just FaceTime me whenever you get home and you're settled. And I don't hear anything. So then it's like 10 o'clock. And I'm like, hey, like, did you still want to FaceTime? I'm kind of tired. And I don't hear anything. So I'm like, I'll just go to bed. So I go to bed. And I wake up this morning. And I texted him. And it was just like, haha, hope you didn't die because we didn't FaceTime. And that was around 8:30. And then around 10:30, I went to go look at my messages, and I clicked on ours. And I look, and I see that the message has not delivered. He blocked me. Blocked me. How am I supposed to find a man when this is what I'm left with? How am I supposed to trust anyone if I'm thinking of having a good connection with someone, because I am, and it's pretty genuine, and then they just out of the blue block me? Why? So I'm now taking applications on TikTok because I'm so over every dating app. But what the fuck?
I just wonder if there were any red flags that she neglected to mention about her. Like, we were having a good time. He was super this, he was super that, and this out of nowhere. Now, I'm not saying that that isn't a possibility that he would have done that. I'm just saying I notice online a lot of times modern women will leave out pertinent information and details, like maybe a conversation that they had, and maybe the man was taken back and he mentioned something like, whoa, I don't know if I do that, or I don't know if I agree with that. And then they don't really respond to it. It's like, oh, that's okay. You know, we can work it out, because they want to work it out. But if it wasn't something that they wanted to work out, then it would be a red flag to them. But of course, we'll never know that part of the story, because these modern women will not want to tell on themselves, even though we can infer or we can gather the details from what they're saying, and based on our experience, understand there's foul play somewhere around here, and they're not saying it. But that's, of course, modern women logic. They think they're out here really doing it, really pulling the wool over somebody else's eyes. The only wool they're pulling over anybody's eyes is their own. And they don't understand it, because a high valued man is not going to be in their presence. They're going to ignore them altogether. But that's it. That's just my opinion. To the next video.